Hey friends, it's Jenny. I just have to share this. Is really cute. I was on my way to come record, and he's like, my husband's like, oh, are you gonna record? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go record. I'm gonna go play with beads. And he says, like a bead boss. So just so you know, we're all bead bosses. Anyway, I have a couple of fun packages to open here. If you are familiar with Gemstone Orphanage, this might look familiar, the kind of purple to blue ombre. I have my yard sale order, and then I also have what I believe is my Stash Challenge reward. I won the Stash Challenge drawing that they had at the end of basically beginning of November for the October Stash Challenge. And so I think that's what is in here. So I'm gonna open that next, but let's start with my yard sale order. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these things out. I've got a packing list. I'll pull that off camera. Got my address on it. But I did order some fantastic things. I spent, let's see, I was trying to see. Okay, yeah, it doesn't actually show like what my total was. I did have a reward that I had used, but including shipping, this should have been about $35. So of everything that I got, and that was included $6 for shipping and handling. But there's a little free gift. Oh, these are so cute. I don't know if I can use them, but I recently got a nickel testing kit. I don't do the nickel testing because I have an olfactory disorder. I am allergic to nickel, and so Becky usually does the testing for us, but I did recently get a kit here for my house for items like this that that Becky doesn't also get, so she can test, and my husband has agreed to test some of those things for me. So my sweet husband, who says I'm a bead boss, is going to end up testing this for me because these are really cute. Those are really pretty. Got my little ladybug dish here too. Whoops. Went on an adventure. And there's just a pair of those as my little free gift. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie and Steve. But this is my order. This bag right here has my order in it. So I'm going to open it up and spill it out. And I'm going to show you what I ordered on the yard sale. Now, the Gemstone Orphanage yard sales happen periodically. The items get revealed on a Saturday during a live over at the Homestrung Jewelry YouTube channel, and then they go live on the website so you can purchase from them. They last for the weekend or while supplies last. So if there's a yard sale, you want to check it out and jump on it right away. I'm so happy with all the color that I have in here. This is making me really excited. Just trying to separate everything out so that I can find them. Oh, there's one bead that slipped loose, but it goes with that one. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. Okay, I'm so excited about all the fun color. Okay, so the first thing that I got on here was these 6x8mm light sapphire crystal lanterns. I love lantern shaped crystals, and this was $1.50 for all of these. Look how pretty they are and sparkly. I love a lantern shaped crystal. Absolutely love a lantern shaped crystal. So set those up here. Have to decide if this is more of like a yard sale thing, so I'm not really sapphire. Wait a minute. Okay, yes, that's the right one. Sorry, I was looking at the sizes. I also got this. This is a strand of lantern shaped crystals, but they're in the ice blue, which I love. They're 6x5mm, so they're a little bit smaller than the ones we were just looking at. Those were 8x6, and I love them. They don't necessarily go in a collection because I'll probably use them across a lot of different projects because I was just getting things that I thought were pretty. I'll be honest, I was not shopping for a specific design, but again, I had to get the lantern crystals. So these ones are in sapphire, 8x6. So we had the light sapphire, for these guys, and then these ones. And they look a little bit black on screen, but you can see that blue glow underneath them. They're this beautiful, beautiful dark blue with a half AB coating on them. And I think they're beautiful. The bags of crystals, there were 20 in each one. And then the strand of the smaller size, there was 25. And each of these was just $1.50. Just $1.50. So I'm excited about those. And then we got 2 bales. Okay, this. So these are stainless steel tube bales with a stardust pattern on them. And it was a set of 3 for $1.25. One of them still in the bag. There we go. But can you see that kind of speckling? Yes. Yes. Whoop. I have some stardust spacers that I really like, and I thought that these might be fun to use and then to be able to hang some dangles from, you know, I love dangles. I love dangles, so I thought those would be fun to play with. I don't know when or exactly how I'll use them, but they're cool. And then these ones are some stainless, like antique silver infinity links. Oh, and all of these metals that I got, Debbie is wonderful. When Becky and I started asking about metal content as I started to use their product, she includes as much metal information as possible. So when something is nickel free or lead free, she does list it. And so I was able to purchase these metal components with confidence, knowing that they were good to go. I just don't know about the free gift. That's the only thing I don't know. So that one will need to be tested. But these ones, I ordered ones that had enough information for me to know that I could use them. But these are really cool. I like these. They're antique silver infinity links. They're 16 by 7 millimeters, and there's 10 of those. Those are going to be fun to play with. And because they're infinity links, and with that design, they're exactly the same front to back, so you don't have to worry about them flipping in your design, which is convenient. So I got those. This set of 10 was $2.50. No. The set of 10 was just $1.50. They're like 15 cents each. And then these are 3-to-1 flower connectors in antique silver. This was $2.50, but there's 10 of these. I love multi-point connectors. You can see this is the front side, this is the back side. So there is a front. The back doesn't look bad, but it is just more flat. It doesn't have as much detail. But there's 10 of those, and they are a 3-to-1. But each of those petals could also have something going on. So that's pretty fun. There are possibilities there. Love myself a multi-point connector. And I also love floral motifs, so that suits me quite well. Okay, I think that's it for the findings. Yes, the rest of these are, let's see. Oh, yes. So this one is a strand that has amethyst, aquamarine, and rose quartz, alternating 6mm rounds. It's a half strand, so there's, I don't know how many there are. There are a bunch. Say 3, 1, 2, 3. So over 30 pieces on this. But that's really pretty, and I loved the soft colors. I loved how they're strung on here, and I think that they show how well they go together. I think a lot of times I look at the gems just by themselves, but I loved these soft tones all together. But they are amethyst, aquamarine, and rose quartz. And then, oh gosh, these are so fun. These are so fun. These are my lava rocks. So this is the blue 8mm, and these are really similar. I did get some of these from another source, and I made a necklace with them, and I love them, and I named them, like, if moon rocks and unicorns had a baby, this is what those would be. but I hadn't yet seen this version. And these are just like if unicorns and moon rocks had a baby and then went to a rave. Like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is the same but in multicolor, and they're just fun. Lava rocks are really light because they're volcanic rock, and these are just electroplated in these colors, and they are super fun. And it says that this is a half strand, but friends, this is a pretty long strand. Like, oh no, it says full strand. Oh, it does say full strand. Let me see how long the strand is. Hang on. In case you wanted to know, this is nearly 16 inches. Oh, I'd call that 16 inches. 16 inches of fantastic lava rocks that are going to be really fun and colorful to play with. I love the texture. I don't know if I'll use them in the same project, maybe. But either way, this is just a pile of fun that I can play with. And these look so silvery when compared with their brighter friends. But they also have kind of that rainbow color to them. It's just softer. It's like it's pale greens and pinks. It says blue. There's a little bit of blue, but it's more like that. So fun. I'm really excited about these. So each of these strands, I didn't tell you, the gemstone strand, this one that had the aquamarine, rose quartz, and amethyst, was $2.75 per strand, and this is a half strand. And this was $3.20 for a full strand, but I don't regret that at all. Those are probably the most expensive thing that I bought. No, there's one more thing. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yes. So some more gemstones, because I got a lot of gemstones in this one. The pink frosted crackle agate. So these are they are agate. They're a stone, so you can see the banding and everything, but they're frosted and dyed pink. And I think they're the sweetest. And then I got the same, so this was $1. It's 6mm half strand. And then I also got the apricot colored. And it does have a lot of variety in that orange tone. Some of them are definitely more bold orange, like this one here on the end. But it also has some nice light peachy tones. Apricot's a good way to describe that. And then I also got sky blue. Just pile those all together. Again, same size, all half strands, and all just $1. And I love how fun the colors are. I also love how they're gonna go with other things that I got too. I'm curious, like especially the lighter toned lava beads. That could be fun. Yes. And then after the crackle agate, this one, okay, so this is turquoise, lapis, and pyrite tubes. They're 13 by 4, and it is a blended like turquoise and lapis. This is the one I spent the most on. It was $4.20, and it's a half strand, but it's got, you can see the pyrite veining. You can see, where the turquoise is, and it's mixed with the lapis. Let me look at this. This tube especially shows so much of all three inclusions. And it's fun. I love that. Okay, so that's the end of my gemstones. I also got these glass pearls. They are A-grade glass pearls, and I got them in 4 different sizes. So we've got the 4mm. Oh, they're different sizes for each. Let's do them in their order. So the biggest one is the 10mm, and it was $1.25. And there are about 15 of these on the strand. And then I got an 8mm. Oops. That was $1 for a half strand. I love this shade of green. Oh, I dropped my 4mm. That's okay, friends, I got it. So this is the 6mm. It was 75 cents, and this is the 4mm, and it was 50 cents. So if I math correctly, this is $3.50 for all 4 strands. That's what I did. And then the last thing I got, and there were so many of these different crystals with different finishes and different shapes. These are the ones that I got. But they are the metallic crystal roundels there were 3 different colors, and this is the metallic AB green is the one that I got, and it was $2 for this strand. But yeah, so that was my yard sale. I probably spent a little bit more time on that than I intended because I was oohing and awing over beads. It's only fair. It's only fair. So I'm going to tuck these into my bag to be figured out for different projects later. But lots of fun colors to play with, beautiful sparkly crystals, and just, that's a bag of goodness. It's just fun. There's so many great colors and different gemstones, glass pearls, crystals, and yeah. So the next time they have a yard sale, you want to be sure to check it out. Like I said, it's just a temporary thing. The link to the Homestrung Jewelry YouTube channel is going to be below. If you subscribe to that and turn on your notifications, then you'll know when they have adoption auctions, yard sales, or what they call a party line, which is where they do like updates and drawing for the stash challenge. And that's actually what this package is, because I didn't order anything in between, so it must be. Oh, they put in a couple of things. Oh, this is one of the little ghost earring kits. How cute. See, you can make little ghosties, and it's got everything you need to make it. That's super cute. Oh, I'm excited. Oh, this is going to go really well with one of the things I do. Okay, so let's talk stash challenge. So stash challenge is something that they do on the Gemstone Orphanage Facebook group, and it changes. Every month is a different theme, a different style, so it works differently each time. So you want to pay attention at the beginning when they announce the upcoming stash challenge, which is what they did when they drew my name for this. They also announced the upcoming stash challenge and how that was going to work. So what I'm going to describe for this stash challenge is not the current one, but some of the stuff is going to help me with the current one, and I'm excited about that. I was not expecting that. I see something here that I can use. I'm so excited. So on the Gemstone Orphanage Facebook group, they have a stash challenge. This is a special party bag that they did drawings, and they just gave away limited party bags. Sometimes by participating, you get party bag items. In fact, oh, these are so pretty. Okay, yep. Getting distracted. But so for October, it was either a trick week or a treat week. And if it was a trick week, you posted something Halloween. If it was a treat week, you posted something that was like fall and cozy. And there were some prompts to help you think in the right direction. For example, I made a triple wrap bracelet during one of the cozy weeks because it was like, what would you wear if you were just curled up with a hot cup of cocoa and stuff like that. So this is my cozy triple wrap bracelet that I made. And so for each week that you participate, you get entered into a drawing at the end of it to receive something special. And I won on the drawing. So that was last month. This month is completely different. So I think there might be a drawing at the end. I'm sure there is. There usually is. But this time, they're featuring 7 gemstones of thankfulness, and they're going to feature 2 each week for each of the 4 weeks. I'm not exactly sure what's going on the 4th week, but basically to participate in the challenge, all you have to do is join the Facebook group and share some jewelry that is inspired by something that you're thankful for. It doesn't have to include the Gemstone of Thankfulness that's featured, but if it does, then so just participating in each week, you get one of 4. They're doing party bags for each of the 7 gems. I'm probably totally butchering this. Honestly, go to the Facebook page to look at it in detail. But by participating in the challenge, you get one of the 7 gemstones of thankfulness to go into your party bag. And because there's a little party bag for each of them. You can earn an extra party bag if you use a featured gem. So for each week, you just participate by posting something you made that represents something you're thankful for and sharing that with the group. But if you feature one of the 2 gemstones that week, you can get 2. So it builds up. So you can get either 1 or 2 based on what you use when you participate each week. Okay. And they'll accumulate those and either send them out with your next order after the challenge ends, or I think they said this one, because of the size of the party bags and the participation, and as a thank you because it's November and it's a time to be thankful, they're going to go ahead and send them out whether you place an order or not. So I think that's what they said for this week. But let's go ahead and look at my party bag because I've got all kinds of things in here. This, I have no idea on most of this, what it is. Like the metals, I don't know the metal contents. Like I said, we'll probably have to, oh, this is okay, this is a bail, guys. It's a princess bail with a green stone. It's got a crown. Okay, this is so cute. This is so cute. So it has a pinch bail here. And then it's got this crown that you can string through, and you can choose if you want to string it, you know, below these bars to have it raise up, or string around this through this top underneath. There's a few different ways you can do it, but it is a little crown with a pinch bail attached. How cute is that? I hope I can use that because it's really cute. I'm going to do the metals first just because that's what I started with. This is some gold chain, and it looks like a couple of bails. So it's really fun because they encourage you to use your stash. You don't have to use their products when you post, but they'll give you more items that you can use to build up your stash. And it's a chain actually that already has a lobster claw attached to it. Really pretty chain. And a gold pinch bail. And then we've got these charms, these fall leaf charms with, looks like some, oh, they're links. That's not a charm, that's a link, friends. Look at that. That's a link. There's 2 loops. Love it. And some fall leaf colors. And then this one has some metal and some skull beads because, you know, it was also spooky week. So we've got some fall themed things, and we've also got these, looks like probably howlite skulls. And some spider charms. And then we've got, looks like a 6-0 seed bead mix. That's very spooky themed. There's the translucent orange. I love this. This is like a purple lined crystal. You see that? That's really pretty. I like that. I like this shade of green too. Look how pretty that is. And then there's some black as well. I might end up dividing this up. Oh, and some of the orange is fully translucent and some of it is silver lined. So we've got, this is a silver lined one, and then one that is just clear. See if I can turn the silver lined so you can see that. Yep. So there's 2, that's why there's so much orange in here, because there's actually 2 different orange beads that are part of this. All right. probably spilled out more of that than I needed to. That's okay. Easy to scoop up and put back in. Get another look at it. So that's the 6-0 bead mix. And then we've got some, these look like they're hematite spacers that have like a gold or copper red combination plating around them. They're going to be easier to see. I mean, I can spill them out here, but you're going to see the part that doesn't face. They're going to be easier to see if I grab one of these pins and put a few on. This is easier to grab. I have a longer pin, but these ones are easier to grab. Let me just put a few of these on here so I can show you a little bit easier. There we go. Yeah. So you can see the kind of warm autumnal tones that are on those. Those are really cool. I like those. Those are just some hematite discs. And then we've got some, I think these are two-hole kind of brick beads, tile beads. I don't know what they call them. I think of bricks because they're like long and narrow, but they're kind of like this purple with flashes of kind of gold and copper on it, but it is mostly purple. There you can see maybe some of the warm tones that are in there. Just move them around a little bit so you can see the different tones. And then we've got these hex beads. I like those, purple and green electroplated hex. And then this, what I stopped and looked at, you guys, these rose quartz nuggets are beautiful, and they're gonna go really well with a design that I wanna make. And so I'm gonna pause this video and I'm gonna be back because I want to make something for, I'm a couple days late. They've already posted the Gemstones of Thankfulness for week 2, but I've had a very busy week coming back from being out of town, and I have an idea of a series I want to make. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. Okay, I'm back, and while I was getting this set up, I did go ahead and pull up the information for the Stones of Thankfulness. If you want to pause there and take a look at it, this is the challenge and how it all works. Essentially, there in the bold in the middle, it says make an item that connects to what you are thankful for and post them each week for a party bag. You'll receive a random selection of one of the 7 Stones of Thankfulness sets each week you post. The set includes 2 8mm rounds, 2 check crystals, 2 glass pearls, 2 head pins, and 2 ear wires in one of the 7 Stones of Thankfulness. Enter all 4 weeks to get 4 different sets. Additional awards will be given in different categories, most photos, most comments, etc., and by using the week's featured gemstones. You might be able to receive all 7 Stones of Thankfulness in a little earring kit. So that sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing that, and also to let you know the first 2 Stones of Thankfulness are right here. We've got the rose quartz, and that's why I was so excited about these nuggets, is because I knew I had these rose quartz hearts in my stash, and I wanted to use that for my stash challenge. Because what I'm going to do this week, friends, or this month rather, is I am going to make a series of bracelets that I'm going to do each of the 7 Stones of Thankfulness, and there'll be 2 each week as they get revealed. So this week is rose quartz and green aventurine. Now green aventurine can be really light toned, and it can be also darker toned. I've got these, and then some of the darker toned in the small. So you can see that variation, because I am, when I make these bracelets, going to be thinking about what I'm thankful for. So the first First bracelet we're going to make today is going to be this one with rose quartz. Some of you who have been around for a while probably know that my sister's favorite stone is rose quartz, and her favorite metal is copper. And so I am going to make a bracelet that reminds me of my sister. And while I'm making it, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I am thankful for with regards to my sister. So that is how I am treating this stash challenge. Is it's an opportunity for me to make these bracelets, which hopefully will stack nicely so that by the end of the month I have stacking bracelets that I can wear to remind me of the things that I'm thankful for. And I will have shared with you why I'm thankful for them. So a little bit about rose quartz while I'm getting this snipped open so I can use these fun nugget beads. They're super great. Is that rose quartz is infused with the essence of unconditional love. Rose quartz serves as a beacon to recognize and cherish the love that surrounds you. Rose quartz gently reminds you that every day is an opportunity to be thankful for the relationships and love that color your life. And there's so much about that that speaks to my sister. For materials, I am going to be using the 925 sterling silver soft flex. I'm using copper, but this doesn't really read as silver to me. To me, it just looks like a really nice, bright, pearly white. And so it's going to look nice with some of these more translucent rose quartz. It's not going to distract from them or try to make it a color that it's not. Because these are all natural rose quartz, and I want them to shine like that. But my sister is a fantastic example of that unconditional love. Some of you know her. She's well, she's on this channel. It's my sister Becky, and she is fiercely protective of me. If she thinks that I'm not being treated well or that people are being mean, she gets all mama bear about it, and she puts a stop to it. And I think that this stone being a reminder of love means that these hearts that I'm using, and I may not use very many of the nuggets. It might mostly be the hearts. That was the original plan, was just a beautiful, simple heart bracelet. But I think some of these are really cool, and I want to use them if I can. So I'm going to pick out some nuggets to make kind of a grouping in the center. I like these ones that are kind of cube shaped, but I'm not sure that they fit with the flow of this bracelet. But my sister and I have not always had the best relationship. We are only 1.5 years apart, so when we were younger, we fought. We were very competitive with each other. If something was a Becky thing, Jenny didn't want to do it, and vice versa, because we didn't want to be too much like each other. And I'm going to consider the nuggets. I'm just going to string some hearts because I know that I want those. And I don't know that I necessarily have like a dominant focal. And a lot of these bracelets are going to be fairly simple because it's less about the fancy design and more about thinking of and sharing what I love with all of you. And I am picking some of the more pink hearts. Rose quartz will fade if it's left in the sunlight. Some of these are very pale. Other ones are more pink. But I'm just taking them and stringing them with a little touch of copper in between. The focal of this is the hearts themselves. But I just, so my sister, sorry. And I had a longer video where I talked about my sister. I made her a rose quartz set for her birthday over the summer. Maybe I'll link that in case some of you newer ones want to check that out. I made her a full set and I did things I'd never done before. It was early on in my double beaded bail making. It was actually the second one I'd ever done. I was doing wrapping, which is definitely pushing my boundaries and those kinds of things. But I wanted to do things that my sister would be proud of me for pushing myself and trying and doing what I could to make something special for her. But I did talk about my sister a lot during that. But we have not always had the relationship that all of you see now. We fought, we competed, we had vastly different experiences in life that took us farther apart instead of bringing us closer together. What you see now between Becky and I is something that has grown from being a sister that, of course she's my sister, of course I love her, to being one of my best friends. And I think it's important to get just a little bit more separation before I do nuggets, just to have that break so people aren't, oh, that's a really malformed heart, because it's not. But we spent a lot of time just having different lives, different experiences. And what we have now is the result of choosing to build a relationship with each other and choosing to do that with shared art forms. Becky invited me to, during the pandemic, and we were all at home, and Becky was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. Before she started doing jewelry making, she got a subscription for watercolor. And she does watercolor on this channel. I have done a couple of watercolor things with her. I haven't done one on my own, but it is something that we both love. And I'll go and put this square one in the middle. Kind of lead into and out of that with the other shapes. But we just, it was a subscription. It's called Let's Make Art. And it was a physical subscription at that time. Now I think they do more digital stuff. It's not something either of us are really doing at the moment. Do you have a few other nuggets? I like the shape of those, but I want to use these ones from the Parti-bag. I just like this one. I like the shape of it, but because of this natural like chunk that's out of it, I don't want that to be sharp when I'm wearing it. So I'm changing the order of some of these. I might just do 3 nuggets in the middle with the cube and the more organic shapes beside it. So we started doing Let's Make Art. It was watercolor subscription that they would send out the supplies and paper and designs to do every month. And Becky and I would schedule time with each other. We made a point of making space for each other as we were doing this journey. And we would watercolor on Zoom or Skype or WhatsApp. We tried all kinds of different versions that would, you know, not limit us in time, but would give us the space that we needed. I'm actually looking at this and I'm wondering if I went the wrong direction with the hearts. I wanted the hearts to come flowing out from the center, but I kind of wonder if I would prefer to have them flowing in. So I'm going to string the other side the opposite way and see how I like that. And I might change the other way, or they might go into and out, because love is an ever-growing and flowing thing, and ever-changing too. It's not always going to be the same. Like when I talk about the relationship with my sister, it was started by us choosing to spend time together and to share a creative pursuit. And when we started being very competitive, not in an intentional way, but just that was our default, was to look at each other's work and compare and think about how one was so much better than the other, or made us feel more than the other or whatever. And instead of looking at it and comparing, and I think this is just about the length that I want, I will adjust it. I can easily adjust from either end at this point. Yeah, pretty close. I'm gonna do just a little bit more. I'm not using large clasps. I've got these little magnetic rounds that I'm using. They only take about 1 centimeter. So I need to fit the way I want to another couple of centimeters, which is actually perfect because I think that that's going to be one more heart on each side. And if this fits loose, I'm not going to be mad because, like I said, I am stacking this. It's meant to be worn with others in the collection. I think I like this, guys. I think I like this. I've got a bracelet mandrel here, and I know I'm stopping in the middle of words and everything, but yeah, with the clasp and one more heart on the other side, that should be just about right. I like it to fit a 7.5 inch. My wrist is 7 inches, but I like that extra space so that it can flow freely on my wrist. So that's 7 hearts on one side and 6 on the other. And I do think I actually like the way I ended up doing this, where instead of mirroring them, I just continued stringing them the exact same way. So they flow in and they flow out, just like love should do. But anyway, we started doing the watercolor and spending time together, and we learned from that experience that looking for and appreciating your own work and the strengths in your own work was more important than looking for the flaws and comparing it to somebody else. And we started spending time talking about what we loved in each other's work, and that has continued and carried over as we've followed other artistic pursuits. Right now, it's jewelry, and I love that. I love that I have this with my sister. I love that she invited me along to be part of this with her, and I love my sister. And I love my sister not because she's my sister, but because she is an important person in my life. Okay. And I'm going to do the smallest jump rings I possibly have. I don't have a whole lot of tiny ones, and I don't have any bright copper, that's for sure. But let me get some of these smaller ones out. I almost want to connect this directly to it because of the length, but I also don't want it to be too small. So now that I've put on that other one, I'm checking the length again on the mandrel to see if that is too close. No, it's not too close to use jump rings. I will use the jump rings. That's good. That's why I like to use that mandrel. I got that from Heather Aston, by the way. I'll put her email address in the description. You can email her and she will let you know. Like, I don't know exactly what the cost is on it, but she's who you go to for a bracelet mandrel that has the sizes, but nothing for the bracelet to get stuck on. And it's also not a folded piece of paper like the one that my husband, with the best intentions, ordered for me and I got. But yeah, I think this is ready. I've got some 2x2 soft flex crimp tubes. I did not go over tools. I've been using my flesh cutters. I'm going to use soft flex crimp tubes, and I've got some pliers for opening and closing jump rings. But I'm going to be using the magical crimper. It's meant to be used with 0.018 to 0.019 beading wire, which the soft flex medium is. And it only works in 2x2 with 2x2 crimp tubes. And it's important. Whoa. I picked up the side that was stopped with a bead stopper and just let the other side flow free. That was very silly of me. I didn't have it stopped on both ends. But it is really important when you're choosing your crimps. Like I said, I use Soft Flex and so does Becky. It needs to be the right size. It needs to have a thick wall and it needs to be seamless. If it's created with a seam or it doesn't have a thick enough wall, it will just crumble. So it looks really similar to the copper Delica beads that I had on here, but it's not. It's a crimp tube. And I'm just going to fold this over, tuck it back into the tube, get this loop the size that I want. I don't need a large loop. I'm going to be attaching my clasp with jump rings, so I'm going for something about this size. And then I'm taking my pliers, and you can see there's this spherical concavity. You want to center your crimp tube inside that. It's really important that it is centered. Give it a little squish, and you can see it pinches down the four corners of that crimp tube. Turn it 90 degrees from where you started, so it's straight up and down inside that crimp tube. Again, make sure that it is centered. Very important that it starts centered and continues centered. So now that I've squeezed it another time, I'm opening the jaws, rotating the work so that I'm just squeezing it from several different angles until it compresses into a nice little ball of crimp that is, I do have the other side stopped, that is a strong crimp tube. And I usually just snip the excess wire directly up against the crimp. It's not necessary for holding the crimp. Just like that. And then on the other side, I'm going to do two things differently. The first thing I do differently is that when I put on the crimp tube and I position it to get my loop, I want it as close to these beads as possible, but I need to make sure that I'm not going to be breaking any beads with my pliers. So I get it close like this, and then I insert my thumb between the bead and the crimp tube so that I keep a little bit of space. You don't want a stiff bracelet anyway, so coil that up a little. It's feeling a little bit stiff, and I'm trying to match up my loops so that they're similar in size, but again, making sure that I keep that space so that when I position the pliers, I make sure that that bead is clear so that I don't break it when I am crimping. The other thing that I do differently is instead of pulling this out and showing you the ravioli, because I just felt it when I pressed and it felt normal and fine, I am going ahead and just taking it, rotating it that 90 degrees, but I kept it in the pliers. So it was here, open the pliers a little bit, rotate it, and put it so it's that 90 degrees. The reason that I do this is because it was easier for me to make sure that I stayed centered if I never removed the crimp from the tool. So it's easier to rotate it around, and just when you don't feel any resistance anymore, it's done. It's not a specific number of presses. You can do it in, I think, 4. The point is to round it out using your tool. And so if it takes a little bit more time, or if it gets a little rough and you want to keep rounding, you can keep rounding. You can keep going. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's going to be perfect with the little clasp. So I'm going to get my pliers. Sorry, they're up above. And I'm going to open my jump ring. This looks like it's probably about a 4mm jump ring. I kind of wish that it had a smaller one, but it'll work. You can use the end of your crimpers as an alternate plier for swinging that jump ring open. And I'm just attaching my bracelet and one end of my magnetic clasp, because for me, it's easier if I keep that clasp engaged with itself. And just make sure that you get this closed really well. They were a little bit misaligned to start with. So I'm making sure that because this is medium wire, but it will slip out if you have a gap. And you want to just make sure that you don't have a gap. Okay. And then using a jump ring on the other side. This is going to be a little bit longer video because we did have the opening at the beginning, but I hope that you are enjoying this process and will stick around while I make my second bracelet for the week 1 challenge. I'll have another video this coming week with the 2 more bracelets to add to our collection in this series. My Bracelets of Thankfulness. They're stones of thankfulness, the featured stones of thankfulness, using my Bracelets of Thankfulness. And this is just a little magnetic clasp. It might be a touch loose. If I can find some smaller jump rings, I will. I don't really like that size for this, but I didn't want to dig around looking for smaller jump rings. Oh, there's some of my smaller jump rings. So I didn't look here because this is where some of the big ones are, but in the bottom of this, I did this on purpose so it'd be easier to tell the difference. Look, this is the size that I want. That's the size that I want. So I am going to, I'm actually going to fix that real quick because that won't take long. And I would rather show you the bracelet fitting how I want. Oh, I have to take it off first. I want my jump ring to take up less space. And it was close to fitting right, but not quite. It was just a tiny bit too loose. And again, I'm planning on these stacking, so some of them fitting a little bit loose is not a problem as long as they don't fit too tight or they don't all fit loose. But the idea is that when I look at this bracelet, I think of my sister and how thankful I am for her, but I am especially thankful for the relationship that we have chosen to build with each other. It's had to be both of us. We both had to choose this, and we did. That's so much better. It doesn't look like it's a big difference, but it is enough of a difference that I like it better. So those were just too big. But that's the idea. That's the idea with these bracelets that I'm making. I am making them for me, not for the people that I mentioned, but they're, you know, Heather and Becky and other people have said that your like your necklace and your earrings, that's for everybody else, and your bracelet is for you. That's what you get to see. You know, you have to look in a mirror to see the other pieces of jewelry, but your bracelet you can see all day, every day. And so these are for me to see and be reminded of and think about the people and things that I am grateful for. And this is my rose quartz bracelet that I will look at and think of the love that my sister and I have for each other and the relationship that we have chosen to build. And that's important to me. So how do I follow up that? Well, my next stone is the green aventurine, and let me tell you about it for just a second. I'm moving these seed beads and other beads out of the way, but the green aventurine, this stone of prosperity is known for attracting luck and good fortune, allowing conditions where gratitude can flourish. It's a stone that reminds us to embrace life's blessings, encouraging a spirit that finds thankfulness in every experience. Green aventurine inspires a thankful heart, helping you stay positive no matter what life throws at you. And I decided that the green aventurine is going to represent my husband to me. First off, his favorite color is green, so that's an easy choice. And he likes the darker tones, which is why I went with these ones. And these are like gently faceted. Let me get them close so you can see them. I know I put them in the dish earlier, but so you can see they are faceted and polished, but they're kind of smoothed out, the faceting on these. So they are very liquid and delicious for that reason. And my husband, aside from this being his favorite color, he is a steadying force for me. Sometimes my anxiety gets the better of me, and he grounds me, and he helps me to turn things around. And it's not like a Pollyanna syndrome kind of thing, but he does help me with my perspective so that I can see positives in what I do. He can rephrase things in ways that teach me to appreciate what I have. He's the one who has determined that calling this space where I work in, not my workspace, not my creative space, not my, the front room or my desk. He decided that this space needed to be my studio. And by using those kinds of words, he legitimized what I am doing in a way that was very empowering for me and positive. That this isn't just a place for me to do my work, or it's not just where I film, or I definitely create, and I don't want it, if you call your space any of those things I listed, I am in no way demeaning what they are. But for him to insist that I call this my studio gave me a huge amount of encouragement and confidence in what I'm doing, that this is for real, that I am an artist who deserves to have a studio and not a craft room, if that makes sense. Like, we could call this my craft room. That's a very standard description for a space where someone creates things. But he wanted me to call it a studio, with the connotation of having that space. I said Becky is one of my best friends. My husband is my best friend. And we have a lot of interests in common. We both love to read. We love to play computer games. We love to play board games. We laugh together. We play together. We've been married for 22 years. And actually, I just met him online about 23 years ago. And it's, we have grown a lot together as a couple. We've gone through some things that have been very difficult. It hasn't all been sunshine. But he's someone that I want to spend time with, that I choose to spend time with. I don't know what happened. There's my snips. That I choose to spend time with because his time is valuable to me and my time is valuable to him. And I think that it's important to have that kind of relationship. Like, it talks about it being like that this stone is of prosperity and it attracts luck and good fortune. We joke about how lucky my husband is. Like, if there's a contest to win, he wins it. And that hasn't always been the case for me. But I have won. Like I said, I won the stash challenge that I showed near the beginning of this video after the yard sale. I've won other not competitions, but, challenges and giveaways and things like that. I luck is luck, but I do feel like having him in my life does make me a little bit luckier, that rubs off. And so much of that is attitude and recognizing that you make and foster your own luck. And I'm stepping up in size, but I'm keeping it very, like I said, my husband is a steadying influence for me. So instead of being like this transition space from we're sisters who love each other because we need to we're sisters who love each other because that's, we're that important to each other as individuals, not just as sisters. You know, this one, he's a steadying influence. So I'm adding in these larger stones, but I'm still interspersing them with those steady, smaller, I think these are 6 and 10 millimeter. I have a caliper I can try. Zero that out. These are, yeah, those are 8 millimeter and 6. So 6 and 8. 6 and 8. But he's steady, but he also adds depth, which you see with the different undulating sizes and colors of stone. But this is just meant to be, I might shorten it on one end if this gets to be too long. I was going to do like a grouping of 5 of the larger stones, but I might actually just leave that at 4 and have these 3 in the middle, because it's a grouping of 7 total stones, which works. It does, like, odd numbers work. And that's around the loop, the way that it will curve around my wrist. I think that's good. I'm going to keep going. So that puts 7 stones in the middle, 7 stones on either end. That feels very balanced, friends. That's some nice balance. And I think that's, like I said, we're talking about how, I'm choosing this one to think of my husband and how he studies me and balances me. And so to have a really balanced pattern on his bracelet, I say his bracelet, it's my bracelet, that when I look at it, I will think of him. It just feels appropriate. But yeah, this is going to be the beginning of a series, and I'm just going to keep building on it all month long, thinking about, and they're mostly going to be simple designs like these. Just making this series of bracelets that remind me of the things and people that I'm grateful for. That's 7. And then I had 3 seed beads on either end. I don't know if I'm going to use all 3. But mirroring that and checking the length. It does actually need a little bit more. It doesn't need so much more. Actually, it does. I'm going to go back to this. And I'm going to add that 5th stone. So length is also important. It's probably a little bit more important than the balance of things. So I'm adding one more of these here in the middle. And then we'll need one more of these stones to make that 7. So, yes. I think it's important, but also the right fit, because I want to be able to wear this, and I think it would be too short if I ended it there. I could just do more of the silver line seed beads at the end, but I was already thinking of doing 5 of those larger. Nope. I am going back and changing that. I'm just going to add seed beads to get the length that I want, because there is a deeper inside meaning that my husband will understand of this configuration in the middle. That configuration in the middle will mean something to him. So I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it as I designed it. If I need to do anything, I will add more aventurine on either end. Maybe I have 8 on each side, and that's fine. But since there will be meaning in the center of this bracelet that is personal to us, I'm leaving that configuration. And I know you're all wondering what it is, but I'll keep it quiet. But yeah, this is, let's see. Yeah, if I'm going to sacrifice any part of the pattern, it's not going to be that middle now, because I have placed the importance on it. Okay, so this is 8 on this side, and some seed beads, and then I'm going to balance out the other side and check the length. I hope that you've enjoyed this. This is just meant to be kind of quiet, meditative thinking about. I'm thinking about the people that I'm thankful for and sharing that with you, and maybe this has made you think about some of the relationships and people in your life. And it's, like I said, it's not about the fancy design. This project is about sharing and reminding myself of the things that are important. Okay, and then I need one more seed bead. Unless I have something that I'm needing to open at the beginning of the other ones. Those will probably be some shorter videos because, like I said, these are simple bracelets. They're reminders of the things that are important. And this is going to be just about perfect. Confirming on my bracelet mandrel. So I measured length. These are not large beads, but with the loop, the jump rings, and the clasp, I think we are looking at a fantastic fit. So I'm going to do it on screen so you can watch the repetition, but I'm not going to be talking through this process. I did that at the beginning with the first bracelet. Also, Becky has a video that has a lot of great tips and tricks for using the magical crimper if you're still struggling. There's also Jennifer Miller has one over on her YouTube channel, Bella Rain Jewelry. There are places to go for additional tips on how to do this. The things that I have found have helped the most is using the right crimp tubes and making sure that it stays centered. If you're still having trouble, even if you're using the right crimp tubes and everything is centered, and you're still having trouble, it's possible to have a defective magical crimper. My first one was awful. Becky ordered it for me and it arrived and I used it and I could never get a good crimp from it, so I stopped trying to use it. And she came to visit like a year later. It was a while later. I kind of gave up. She wanted me to join her on the jewelry making thing a lot sooner than I actually did. Again, with the sister relationship that I was talking about earlier. But she came and she tried to use my magical crimper. She's like, oh, I won't bring my tools. I'll just use ones that I already sent down to you. And so she tried to use it and she couldn't get a good crimp either. And she'd been using the magical crimper for a couple of years at this point and knows how to use it. So for her to not get a good crimp, we were like, oh, is that even a possibility? Yes, it is. So we looked at it and sure enough, it was not lined up properly. And that is a possibility. I do know, and I had it confirmed, she checked after it came up in other conversation. Kristen Fagan has confirmed that at Softflex, if you buy a magical crimper from their store, they check it. Like, they often will even include the little test crimp. They make sure that they can get a good crimp from any of the magical crimpers that they sell on the Softflex website. So there's going to be a link to the website anyway because I'm using their beading wire. But if you're struggling with a magical crimper and you suspect you might have a faulty crimper, get one from Softflex. because you'll know that it can make a good crimp, and then you can continue your troubleshooting from that point. So just some additional stuff. Getting this on. And I don't think I told you why I chose silver as an accent for these instead of trying to keep the metal consistent between all of the stones. One, I think green and silver looks beautiful together, but it's also the metal tone that my husband prefers. And it's what he's most used to seeing on me. I have branched out and I make and wear other metal tones now, but I used to be a silver only girl. So this kind of talks a little bit to that as well. The way he views and sees me. But this has been fun. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's, like I said, it's been a very busy week, so I hadn't quite gotten to all the things that I needed to do yet. And in fact, I was planning on this being a tutorial from the subscription box, but I wanted to do this first. So there'll be something from the subscription box soon. So watch for that. But this is just, it was what needed to happen today. It was the creative space that I needed to be in. Yes, and I've got some nice tiny jump rings here. Okay, just gonna get this attached. Before I do, I'm just checking to make sure. Oh yeah, yep, the small jump rings will be just right. My clasp attached to my pliers. Even when it's activated on itself, it still is like, hey friend. I'd rather it be a nice strong magnet than not, so extra enthusiasm from the magnet does not make me mad. I love magnetic clasps for my bracelets. Sometimes they do pop open, sometimes you can bump it and it'll come loose, but they're so easy for me to use, and I'm not super active, so like it bumping into things is less likely. If I had a job where my wrist was always getting in contact with things, I might prefer not to use a magnetic clasp in that case. But I don't, so I can enjoy this. So this is my inspired by my husband green aventurine. Brings me luck, reminds me to view things positively, and overall just, you know, being my love and support and my best friend. So Becky is a very, very close second in my life, but I wanted to share these first two. This is who those stones reminded me of, and so that's who I did for the first week. So watch for a future video with my week 2 bracelets. Like I said, unless there's something I'm opening, I'm probably just going to be doing those bracelets and giving you a little bit of a glimpse into who and what I'm thankful for. But this is what we started with. The rose quartz for my sister, and this lovely dark green aventurine for my husband. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to have all the relevant links in the description below, including to Gemstone Orphanage YouTube channel, Facebook page where the stash challenges take place, the video that I told you about with my sister with her birthday gift. That is a longer video, just so that you're forewarned. I was trying a lot of new skills, and I I just went for it. But I did talk a little bit more about my relationship with my sister and things that I love about her. In the meantime, I hope that you have a wonderful week. And I'm going to, like I said, as I wear these, think about people that I love and am grateful for. And some of them may be being grateful for things or activities. These ones happen to be people in my life that I'm thankful for. And this is the beginning of my series, The Bracelets of Thankfulness. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you liked this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And as always, my friends, happy beading. And don't forget to play. Bye, friends.